Okay, so we're going to try something. I've never actually done a reading like this on a video. You can see my cards are well worn. I've used them a lot. These are my favorite. This is my Fairy Oracle deck by Brian Froud. And we're going to do a first attempt at a video here, and we're going to do a collective reading. So we're going to start with a collective reading, just general, and then we might do a couple different spreads. I might pull out the tarot, and then eventually I might pull out some playing cards here at the end. Those take me a little bit longer. It's almost like having to convert a language in your head. But we might do those at the end. We'll see. So anyway, starting with these, let's just take a moment. Let me center myself for a second here. And we're going to access some collective energy. We're going to start with, this may or may not resonate with you. It may resonate in whole, it may resonate in part, it may not resonate at all. If it resonates, take what's there, leave what doesn't. Sometimes it won't resonate with you at all. If it doesn't, it's not your reading. If it's yours, you'll notice that it'll resonate in parts. Sometimes it'll be past energy, sometimes it's current energy, sometimes it's future energy, and it may not even be anything that you recognize. In that case, it wouldn't be your reading, or it just may be something that hasn't happened yet. Time is not linear, so and it depends on where you are in your timeline. So, but this is for fun. It's for entertainment. Some people use this for spiritual advice. Some people use it for growth and for healing. I know that during some very, very dark times for me, oracle decks like this one and tarot decks and listening to other readers really helped facilitate in my healing and my spiritual growth. So this is my absolute favorite deck. This deck and me are almost synonymous. It's a very fluid connection, and I can read it with the traditional, definitions, but also intuitively. I like to pick up on just intuitively, as it gives a really good flow. So let's get started. Some people like to pray at the beginning, or they have some kind of a spiritual ritual. I do as well, but for me, it's a very personal thing. At some point, I might add that to my videos, but right now, it's just kind of between me and universe, source, God, Goddess, my higher power, whatever you want to call it, whatever you ascribe to. It's a very personal, very private connection that I have with source. So, but let's see what we have here for the collective reading. What is the overall energy for this particular group of collective? Under the deck, we have the Piper. Oftentimes a subtle energy. So we have a very subtle energy underneath. That's what I'm getting anyways at the moment. I'm going to sit down. Hopefully my voice doesn't move too much, but standing as I am. You can't see me, but I'm straddling a saddle chair and it's very uncomfortable. So I'm going to sit down and hopefully that doesn't affect the sound. We already have a flipper. So collectively right now we have the raw energy, which basically crowning the reading is a very powerful card. It's full of energy. The raw has a tendency to energize and intensify any card that's around it. It gives it great energy. So this may be a very, very intense reading. Can we get a companion card for the raw, please? What energy do we have right now that's so intensified? Aha. The Solas card. The Solas. I'm getting a lot of enlightened energy off of that card right now. Very much sun type energy, not in the tarot sense of the sun, but in illumination. His eyes are very piercing, as if to see inside one's soul. It's a very intense gaze. So right now, the collective is very intensely focused on, I would guess, what's currently happening. Whether that be current events going on in your own country or around the world, or just what's happening in your own life. We have the Guardian of the Gate underneath. Guardian of the Gate is a card very much about pressure. Pressure and going through tests and going through literally a gateway. Passing a test. Right now, I would say that the collective is being tested. We are literally going through the crucible at the moment. And that would be accurate. Both in a lot of people's lives, we have a tipping point where you're deciding who you are, what you stand for, how you will be counted by history. It actually, coming to mind right now is the passage, I believe I forget where the passage is exactly, but in the Bible there's a passage, whether it's in Revelation or it's referring to Revelation, about the burning away at the judgment seat, where your actions and your deeds will be put to the test, and they'll be put through the fire. And what comes out will be what is determined as to your heavenly reward. So how will you be counted? Will your life have counted for something? Or will it be burned up in the flames? Wow. It's crazy that came to mind. Okay. Shockingly biblical. Can we get some advice in this moment? Can we get some advice for the collective? Sylvanius. Sylvanius bears the sword of truth. And he holds the mask, and the mask is not a mask that you use to hide behind or to cover up. It's not a mask with which you conceal yourself, but it's a mask with which you turn inward privately. It's reflective. And the sword of truth that she bears is the sword that goes between worlds. Will you honor truth, or will you ignore it? You see how she's gripping the sword, almost as if she's holding on to truth, even though her eyes are shut. While others begrudgingly turn away. Will you do the inner work? Will you hold to truth and allow your inner light to shine? That's a lot off of one card. We got a couple flippers. We got, the undressing of the salad. Is this, and the fawn. Oh, wow. Okay. So in that, we have the undressing of the salad and the fawn. And the fawn is a card of pure magic. And the undressing of the salad is like achieving the impossible. So if we hold to truth and we look inward and we do the inner work, we can access pure magic and achieve the impossible. That's the advice. And in the undressing of the salad, to help you understand the whole idea of achieving the impossible, the fairy deck is very humorous. And they use a lot of nonsense to make sense, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. And the idea of the undressing of the salad is, once you put a salad together and you throw a bunch of dressing on it and then you toss it all together, you can't very likely undress it. That's an impossible feat. Sorry, I'm letting the cat in because he's not going to leave me alone. He is definitely my companion. Hi, baby. I love you too. Hello. You gotta give me the minute, baby. Okay. Hi. I know. Nope. We're not getting up. Thank you. You're gonna have to stay down there. So that is the advice. Go within. Seek your inner truth. Allow your light to bring forth the wisdom that you know to be true. And in that, we can access the ability to achieve the impossible. Can we get an outcome? And then we've got the High Priestess under the deck, and the High Priestess, I'll cover her up. It's a little bit risque. The fairies like to be scandalously clad. They don't believe much in modesty. I don't blame them. Freeing. But the Dark Lady is similar to the High Priestess in the tarot, and you notice that both of them one has a moon over her head, and this one has seemingly a beam of light that comes out of her third eye, which is does speak towards the idea of a deep inner knowing and enlightenment. But you don't get that wisdom through anything but hard experience. And you go through the dark night of the soul to get there. So all of us are in the collective, are in the process of, and or have gone through a very deep dark night of the soul where we wouldn't have the ability to speak truth to one another if it weren't for that experience and that willingness to live through the discomfort. Growth is always uncomfortable. No, I love you, but no. Okay, can we get an outcome? An outcome, please. Can we get one card for the outcome for the collective? I just did a reading earlier and it was similar but different. I actually wish I had recorded that one as well, which is why I decided to do this one, because that one was just so profound, and they always are. That's what I love about the fairy deck, is they're so profound. But can I get an outcome, please? An outcome card. Mike the Myromancer. So, and can I get a companion card for Mike? And then we'll talk about it. Companion card for Mike. Melis the Alchemist. All right. So Mike the Myromancer is all about the study of the comings and goings and the lives of mice. And the idea that you can study something on the macro and on the micro to greater understand what's on the macro. And Melis the Alchemist is all about that alchemical change, right? Growth, evolution, but specifically alchemically the change. And you can change and grow and transform even your mindset through paying attention to the fine details on the micro. It reminds me of a conversation that my sister and I had at one point where we talked about the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and the world at large, whether it's the collective or in individual relationships. And oftentimes what you see is a reflection. So what is happening collectively on the larger scale, you oftentimes see in small individual relationships with each other. The same conflicts that we're experiencing on a macro scale in society are oftentimes the same conflicts that are being experienced and worked through in individuals and in individual relationships. And it is in paying attention to and working on our individual connections on the micro that will overall impact what happens in society altogether. So the idea is, if we can fix our relationships, if each of us focus on fixing our relationships with each other, within our own groups, and then cross with all of the others, we can heal a society. It'll create a chain reaction that'll ripple out. Don't underestimate the small things and the impact that those small things have. A random hug, a kind word, an act of humanity, compassion that right now almost seems like a rarity. Wow. That was good. All right, let's do another spread. This time we're gonna do a different spread. That was really more of a general collective. Let's do yours, mine, and the situation in between. This one is going to be a little bit more honed in. It's going to be more situational. Again, if it's yours, take it. If it's not, it's not your story. Enjoy the story. But it may or may not resonate. These are just oracle cards. They're not tarot cards. So they read a little bit differently. They have a little bit more of a freestyle read, a more intuition, which I am grateful for. I prefer to read things a little bit more intuitively, but I can apply to the tarot rules. But even then, most people who are intuitive readers, even with the tarot, we still read it intuitively oftentimes. We don't stick to the narrative or to the basics. So let's do, this is one of my favorite spreads. This is a yours, mine, and in between. So the way it's going to go is, in the center is going to be the situation between you and your person. You will be on this side, they will be on that side. Flip it, switch it. You may end up on either side. Sometimes it's interchangeable. Depends on which side you pop up on. And it may not be yours at all. And if it's not, that's fine. That was quick. Singer of Intuition. So the singers in the fairy deck are very much kind of like energetic angels. They are, compared to the tarot, they would be considered the major arcana versus the minor arcana. These are the things that we don't control. They're oftentimes the things that we are learning and all of the collective of what is needed to achieve unity. It is one of the feminine principles, but can be contained both feminine and masculine. The Singer of Intuition has a very strong center light trail. It almost appears as though, to me, in the moment, what I'm seeing, it's as if there is a massive angel of light suspended above the surface of the earth. And this shooting up pattern of light very much to me represents the chakras, starting with the root chakra, going all the way up to the crown chakra. But what I'm noticing the most is the heart chakra in the middle. And that's what intuition is, right? It's a very feely thing. We feel our way through. So in the situation between, there's a lot of intuition between you and your person. Can I get a companion card to help us understand what is this intuition about? And this is a mutual energy. The energy in between you is a mutual. Can denote to a very almost, I mean, if Arvel the parrot pops out, it would be very much an indication of a almost telepathic communication between you and your person. It's that, if you don't understand that, it's like you know each other so well, you would finish each other's sentences. You guys could be part of a conversation in a group and look across the table at each other and you instantly know what you're thinking. There are no need for words when you have a connection like that. Oh. Wow. Oh, another singer. She of the Cruath. This is the feminine principle, for sure. Very much the feminine principle. So creativity, creation, nurturing, compassion, the birth of something new. This is beautiful energy. This is a very divine connection. We haven't even gotten to, oh, and the fairy godmother underneath. Holy crap, yes. Wow. This is a very divine connection. Whoever this is. All right, let's get person on this side. So the first card that comes out represents the person on this side and their energy towards the connection and towards the other person. But I can't imagine that it could be anything negative because those cards are so beautiful. And the fairy godmother comes out again. So, wow. Holy crap. There's a lot of magic in this reading, or what would appear to be magic. It's a lot of divine energy. The fairy godmother often is, she manifests. Yeah, it's almost as if I'm seeing right now she's holding a golden apple in one hand, and that's what she's looking at. She's very nurturing. The golden apple almost denotes like she has a magic touch, almost as if everything she touches turns to gold. You can see how she shields and protects all the little creatures of the forest under her robe. And she has an owl as a companion, which indicates she bears a lot of wisdom. Male, female, it doesn't matter. It could apply to either person. Doesn't necessarily have to be female. Although the masculine principle of this one would be that old gnome, which is similar to the magician in the tarot deck. Can I get a companion card? It's almost as if I know she's looking this way, but it's almost as if she's looking at that apple offering something. And it would be towards the connection or towards the other person. Like she's offering a divine gift. Can I get a companion card for the fairy godmother, please? Release the alchemist. She shows up again. So she's offering the gift of transmutation. Evolution and change. Can we get a, wow. Wow. Can we get some cards for the other side, please? The other person. Salvani has popped back out. I'm going to put those ones back. We don't always take every card that pops out. Sometimes a whole deck will pop out on me and it's like, we don't have time for that. We're not doing a whole story. We are doing a story. We don't have an hour to sit here. So the other person comes with introspection and truth. Their own truth. They have the tools to bridge the gap between worlds. But it's almost as if they're looking towards the fairy god or mother with some pessimism. Maybe even a little bit of distrust. As if the fairy godmother and the gift she offers is maybe too good to be true. He of the fiery sword pops out. So this is the masculine principle. So we definitely have a divine feminine and divine masculine. The divine feminine and the singer of intuition seems to be the strongest overarching energy in the reading, but the divine masculine popped out in He of the Fiery Sword. And the title or the phrase that goes with He of the Fiery Sword is do not draw me without cause, nor return me without honor. Very much about action. So very much we have a very feminine and a very masculine situation going on here. Very balanced. And in the underlying energy on the deck, we have the Singer of Healing. I'm just going to pull that out. Put that right there. So there is very much, this is a very beautiful reading. Like, whoever this is, like, you and your person, I mean, I've only seen, I rarely see this many singers come out in a reading. In fact, I have only seen this many and more. I've actually seen all of the singers come out in a couple of readings before, but they always were readings that I did for myself and my person. And it always, all of the singers come out because it's such a spiritually charged connection. But this one is as well. Whoever this is unbelievable. Like, we have the feminine and the masculine principle and the Singer of Healing and intuition. Wow. I don't feel like there's any need for advice for this reading. Like, I almost don't want to pull any more cards. I don't want to mess it up. This is so beautiful. Whoever you are very blessed with your person. Very, very blessed. Oh, how cool would it be if the Unity card came out in the final? That would be amazing. The Unity or Ecstasis. That would be amazing. But let's see. Final outcome. What is the final outcome? This is all of the energy that's happening between the two of you, regardless of what's going on in the surface, what it looks like. Whoever you are meant to be together, these two people. And I would say with the singer of intuition and the singer of healing, with also the feminine, the masculine principle, where he bears the sword of truth and she bears a divine gift. This is a power couple. This is like a super power couple. You guys have a huge mission in the world. Like, massive. Massive mission. In healing the world. Or the collective, I would say. I mean, the universe, source, God, whatever, rarely do you see this kind of energy between two people and it's just for them. Like, no. These people could change the entire world. Oh, too many. Let's try again. Amazing. Oh. Do I take them? Yes! The Unity. Oh, and Luminous Doom. Why did he come out? This is amazing. So, in the story of the singers in the fairy deck, all of the singers cumulatively are facets of the Unity. Hey, cat. Leave the blinds alone. Sorry, cat. And the Dark Lady underneath again. So the High Priestess. Very spiritual reading. So anyways, back to what I was explaining. In the Unity, all of the singers are expressions of one of the aspects of the Unity card. So, and the goal is always to bring everything back to unity. So you have the divine feminine and the divine masculine and the singer of intuition and the singer of healing, and these are all aspects of the unity. And unity is always the goal. So the outcome is the unity. So whether or not you guys are together or not, the outcome is unity. Beautiful. But I don't understand the sadness of Luminous Doom. I mean, I do, but he's quite pitiful. But his eyes are big. In a connection like this, it will be fraught with challenges. And sometimes, before true unity is achieved, that happily ever after, you may think that you might not make it. and it might cause a little bit of despair. You might run into obstacles, roadblocks. Sometimes even people get in the way. Usually when you have a couple that are this charged with energy, and they are both individually in their own right so spiritually powerful, there will be people that don't want to see them together for whatever reason. And it might give you reason to despair. But don't lose hope, because have faith. Have faith. Allow it to flow. It will happen. Ah, beautiful. All right, let's put them away. Should we do another one? Let's do another one. Let's do these. It may take a minute. These are very slippery, so these cards are supposed to be waterproof. They are very heavy, as you can hear, and they are very slippery. So they might jump out of my hands. That does happen sometimes, especially with these, because they are so slippery. But I love them. They're beautiful. Let's see. Cut the deck very carefully. These, I work a lot slower with them because if I even slightly slip, they're gonna everywhere. Cards will go everywhere. So, okay. Let's flip them over so the rose is upright. See how beautiful that is? Oh, so beautiful. Okay. I love these. Ah! See, just like that. Cards everywhere. Flip those over. Just a second. Let me get the cards that fell. Okay. Let's go again. I wasn't ready yet. Okay. Let's do, I mean, this isn't tarot, but let's do something like a Celtic cross. Let's do a cross. Clubs. 7 of clubs. So clubs are similar to wand energy. And the 7s is much like the 7 of wands in the tarot. So it would be, there's a degree of conflict, competition, tension. What is crossing this? What is the energy crossing this or blocking this? I feel like that in itself, that card is a block card. I mean, that's kind of a weird position, but this conflict, what is the energy causing and or blocking? Probably causing the conflict here, competition. Okay, we're going to take that one. I'm going to put these away because that's too many. Notice though, it's upside down. So we're going to actually set it there like that, upside down. So there's a conflict. But the reason behind it is kind of hidden. It came out hidden, which is weird. In the past, we have the Four of Wands. So at one point there was unity and celebration in this situation in the past. But, and then the crowning energy, current crowning energy is the Ace of Spades. Spades is air energy, so air energy is thoughts, words, conversations. So a message, a truth. In the current energy, there's a truth. What is the hidden, the actual hidden energy? What is the hidden energy? Can we get anything? Anything at all? The Jack of Clubs is much like a Knight of Wands. So, Knight of Wands is an action taker, but he's also impulsive. He has a tendency to rush in or rush out, and he's very inconsistent, and it usually comes in with a lot of passion. Well, let's just say it can be an immature energy hidden underneath, but it's a very action taker, passionate energy. Let's look at the future energy. Five of Cups, Five of Hearts. Hearts are cup energy. It's water energy. The five, especially, it would be. It's often denotes heartbreak and loss. So basically, in the past there was unity. Currently, there is a truth being uncovered about a conflict that has a hidden block. The hidden energy or the motive underneath would be an immature, fiery energy. Somebody, usually a young masculine, that's impulsive. Doesn't have to be, but a masculine, but it often is. Kind of a player energy sometimes, although I feel like, well, no, yes. So you got player light and you got player heavy. You got, the Jack of Clubs, which would be player light, kind of an in and out, impulsive energy. And then if the King of Wands, what we'd say, if the King of Clubs in reverse came out, which doesn't really come out in reverse here because jacks all of them are upright and reverse simultaneously, so you don't really read them in reverse. But say the King of Wands came out in reverse, or the King of Clubs came out in reverse, that would be like the man-ho card, right? So The King of Wands upright is King of Fire, action taker, very assertive, very man's man, very stable, fixed energy, right? But would be Leo energy. But this, the Jack of Clubs is more more Sagittarian energy, I would say, or Aries, actually, yes, it would be more Aries energy. Very impulsive. Saggies can be impulsive too, but very impulsive. And whatever the conflict is in the future, it's creating heartbreak, loss. Let's see. What is this? Why did it come out upside down? What is the conflict? 5 of Pentacles. Poverty. Wow. Wow, so there's an underlying impulsive energy, and the situation at hand is conflict over competition with poverty. In a current situation where there used to be unity, and the future position and the results are the 5 of Cups, which is grief, sadness, and loss. Wow. Wow. I don't remember all 4. There's 4 supposed to be, but I only remember 3. So we're just going to put 3 down. Remember, guys, I'm new at this. Well, I'm not that new, but this is my first video. So let's do, what is the environment? What's the energy and the surrounding environment of this situation? This is a much heavier, sadder reading, obviously, than the last 2. The fairies were much lighter, much lighthearted. I hate to end it with this. We were doing so good. But it can't all be bells and whistles and rainbows and butterflies, right? Reality isn't always fairy tales. So what is the energy in the environment? The energy of the environment is the King of Spades, which would be the King of Swords. Aquarian energy would be someone who's very direct. I would guess is wielding the truth. Quite possibly the person that's assessing and or explaining all of this. Very direct, very matter of fact, very logical, very cerebral is sword energy, Aquarian energy, spade energy. Can we get a card for hopes and fears, please? What are the hopes and fears? In this hopes and fears. hopes and fears. Come on. We can't be done talking yet. We just need a couple more. 2 more cards. I need hopes and fears and then the final outcome. Hopes and fears, the 2 of Cups, or the 2 of Hearts. So, I mean, the hope that there can be togetherness and that whatever the situation is can be resolved. The fear might be the fear of the loss of the 2 of Cups. So, that the conflict and the poverty and the truth of the conflict and the poverty and the loss could be losing not just something tangible, but could be losing, whoever this is possibly losing their soulmate because of whatever the situation is. Man. What's the final outcome? Boy, this is sad. This one is sad. This one is very sad. What's the final outcome? Can we get a final outcome? What's the final outcome? Well, that's interesting. Maybe we'll leave that where it is. 6 of Swords. Sorry, I have to remember. I need to actually see the 6 of Swords. So I have another deck. I have my other deck, my tarot deck for reference here. I need to see the 6 of Swords. That one is, this deck is harder to read intuitively. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm translating. It's like translating from one language to another. I'm still learning how to translate. Oh, moving into calmer waters. So in the past, during unity, the waters were calm naturally. That's pretty profound. You would think so, right? That there would be calmness. What's the final outcome? I don't know if in the past you were able to get over your differences, but now there's conflict, poverty, and loss, and possibly even the loss of a soulmate. Or that's the fear that this will be the thing that breaks you, the relationship. Seems very personal. Whoever this reading is for, seems very personal. Very, I don't know whose energy this is, but Three of Wands. A choice will have to be made in the future. An action will have to be taken. I don't know what that action is, but I'm not gonna go through and clarify all of this because we would be here for hours. This is the general, the situation on the surface. If we were going to really dive deep into this and start getting details, I would be pulling out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 decks. And we'd be going through and clarifying each one of these and trying to really pick out details of a story. But this is the overall gist of whatever this particular situation is. But whatever's going on, someone is going to be forced to make a decision. And literally the cards are going to fall how they're going to fall, and that decision may or may not make or break this relationship. And it may result in the loss of a soulmate. I mean, that's what it's looking like. I'm sorry, whoever this is. This is tough. I wish we were ending on a happier note, but it doesn't look like it. So, anyways. So there you go, guys. That's the first ever reading in video. I read all of my cards intuitively for the most part. Anytime somebody reads cards like this, yes, there are basic definitions, but it's always open to interpretation because the readings are also intuitive. So, and each reader reads things with their own uniqueness. So, please keep that in mind. But that's it. All right. Have a good night, guys.